Hi climbers, and welcome back to the Treehouse. My name's Ree and this is the tarot tree, and today I thought, we'll do a little reading about the shadow. I feel like we're in this winter period now. We should be coming up into spring very shortly if the time keeps going as fast as it is. And I thought it'd just be good to kind of check in with those sides of ourselves and see what messages our shadow has for us. What is it trying to illuminate? So yeah, that's what this reading is going to be about, something I'm interested in and I've been looking into. So I thought, why not share that experience with you guys? So we're going to look at, what is your shadow trying to shine a light on right now? What is it trying to illuminate? What messages can we get from those shadow aspects of ourselves? I've got 3 cards for you here, so I just want you to look at each card and kind of see which one you're most drawn to. Here we have pile number 1 with this lovely image here, pile number 2, and pile number 3. There's no wrong or right answer, just take a moment, reflect, see which pile you're most drawn to. Where's your intuition grabbing you right now when you look at these pictures and images? And when you've done that, I'll see you in your pile. Just check below for the timestamps, and I'll see you there. Hi, pile number 1. If this is the card you chose, then this is the reading for you. This is a really interesting one, I find, because you guys actually have 2 figures on your card here. So I'm just going to give you my intuitive hits for this card to begin with, and we'll see how that goes with the rest of your reading. We're going to draw oracle cards and tarot, just to let you know, but yeah. So here we have 2 figures, and I don't know if you can see, but there's one that seems a lot more kind of serene, carefree, and one that is really seeming to be weighed down. And what I find really interesting here is it seems as though, I don't know if you can tell, it's like there's lots of post-it notes, almost like labels that are kind of weighing this person down. Judgments, expectations. They seem very like forlorn and their eyes are down, and yet this figure is holding their hand almost as a support and kind of taking that sorrow and rain from them. As you can see, the darkness goes into their hands and rooting them, which I find very, very interesting. As we know, shadows are usually formed within childhood, and I'm wondering whether you were someone that ever that actually felt like that as a child, weighed down by what you were labelled as, called, your expectations put upon you, etc. And that you may have been this figure in the past, but I actually see you more as this one right now. Okay, this aspect, this sort of helping kind of figure. It's almost like a Jesus aspect to this. I don't want to throw religion in too much, but there is, like with this sort of white kind of gown, there is that sort of element of wanting to help. So I feel like the sort of shadow aspect that's coming through here is this kind of sense of, this shadow aspect that has been formed here has come from injustice, a sense of injustice, and how you feel towards that and how you've reacted towards that going forward in life. I feel it actually may have caused you to be someone that's actually takes people under your wing now, needs to support these causes, supports the downtrodden, etc., which obviously is quite a positive thing. But as we go on, I'm wondering what kind of messages we're going to be getting from that kind of shadow element here, because I do see that the figure here is quite grounded and stuck in this almost role. Perhaps maybe you are a caregiver that is very stuck in that role, maybe through sticking up for others as you would have wished you would have been stuck up for in the past, maybe keeping you rooted. That's what I'm kind of getting from that, which is quite interesting. So yeah, that's what I'm getting so far. What does your shadow want to shine a light on? This sort of caregiving element of you. So let's move forward. We have 2 other oracle cards here. Can we get this in frame? Just got to double check. So, that's very succinct. You guys are the ones that drew the Samaritan card. Where do I want to put these? And also the Panther energy. Very interesting. Okay, because we've got two cards there of protective energy, really and truthfully. First and foremost, of this panther, that's the animal that's really seen as a sort of protective power animal. Can be, as you can see in this imagery here, very fiercely protective. Okay, almost too much so. Okay, so that is a first message that's coming through here. You might want to look at that aspect of yourself and why this protective, why you are so protective of yourself perhaps, or definitely there is something about others here. Okay, you know, the Panther energy is also energy that's very hard to ignore. So maybe you know this already, and this kind of message is already coming through to you. You know, you have to just, you have to adhere to the Panther's calling, as it were. And that really could ring true for those of you that really pick up causes in life. I don't know why I'm seeing people that are sort of really fighting for social injustices, charity workers, looking after people who, are more downtrodden than you, really taking these causes to heart and really running with them. That's very strong energy I'm getting off of that, which is very interesting. That's being linked to a shadow aspect of yourself. And that takes us on to this Samaritan here. Okay, so we're not going to forget the light attributes of this. It goes, refine your capacity to help those you would prefer to ignore. So it's definitely the people that seem to be forgotten in society, or maybe looked down upon or overlooked, I would say. The other. There is something quite other about this kind of figure here. And they don't have roots. I don't know why I'm seeing you as someone that might help people that have been displaced through war, things to do with race, culture kind of wars, civil wars, refugees. I'm getting that strongly. This is something that matters to you. Those in communities that have been historically kind of trodden down, etc. That's coming through very strongly here. You may actually identify as being part of that community yourself, so that's interesting. But obviously with the shadow attribute here, we have for the Samaritan, exacting appreciation and recognition for the help you offer. So it's shining a light of potentially on this. There might be some ego attached to this, or pain that's attached to this. And that's not saying that that's a bad thing, because obviously that can be a drive. But like I said, this is something that your shadow is trying to illuminate to you right now. A message is trying to get across. What are your drives behind these kind of aspects of wanting to help others, look after others, pick up the downtrodden, etc. Because in some aspects it seems that you may be taking on quite a lot of pain, a lot of emotion that may not be yours. And it may be keeping you rooted and grounded. Obviously that can be a good thing in some way, shape or form. When you're a grounded person, you can be quite a pillar of strength for others. But I'm wondering if it, there's a message coming through here that it could be potentially sabotaging your progress. Not necessarily what you're doing, but maybe the way you're going about it is what's coming through, or how much of your energy it may be taken from you. Okay, and also your reasonings behind doing it now. Is it because it's making you feel this sort of like, obviously it makes us feel happy to look after others, and it makes us feel good to do good deeds 100%. But is that the only way that you're getting that sort of fulfillment perhaps? Is that something that needs to be looked at? That is the message that I'm getting here, really and truthfully so far. Very interesting. Also, there's I'm seeing here with the Samaritans, I think it's very interesting that you have sort of these trapeze artists that are relying on each other. This sense of maybe codependency that's coming through of those you may be helping, There is that sense coming through, this kind of attachments that could prove to be, a bit detrimental if they're not kind of, boundaries are not kind of put up. I'm kind of half seeing you maybe as a sponsor or something, you know, within AA, you know, and you're looking after people, but it might be infringing on your health, perhaps. Something within that realm just came through then also very strongly, because you can get very tangled up in this. That is the message I'm getting through this image here. Very tangled up. That's very, very interesting. There is this sort of indication that maybe, you know, with this Panther as well, sometimes we have to take a step back and not always be there to help people. Sometimes helping steps into the enabling realm, okay? Especially if we're talking in terms of codependency that's coming through, which does rear its head when we're people who are empathic, for example, people who have been through trauma and then have tried to help those who've also gone through it. These are things that crop up for us, you know, and that's something your shadow wants you to be aware of, okay? These are beautiful traits that are coming through. Hand on heart, I'm not getting like bad energy from this power at all, but there has to be a balance is what I'm being told here, you know. Even with a lot of the light and shadow aspects here, I'm seeing this yin yang message coming through, okay? And here we have a lot of the sort of fire masculine energy with the Panther, okay? That very like forward, aggressive, just let's keep doing it, let's pummel on, let's go forward, let's sort this out. And you may need to just take a little bit of time to, okay, where are my energies best put? How can I best help? Am I maybe putting myself into another situation a bit too much? Do I need to allow them to find their own 2 feet? Because as you can see, this figure doesn't have that. They're kind of a half person. And, you know, it's great for us to be a support to others, but there has to come a time that, you know, support is there to help someone get on their own 2 feet, not keep them suspended in this state. And it can also feed our ego in the sense of some of us like that want to be needed, okay? That's, you know, might sound a little bit harsh, but that definitely has a role too, because that gives you control, it gives you power in a situation, whether you want to look at that or not. That might not be the case, but if you feel like that's resonating with you, that's something that the shadow here really wants you to have a look at, okay? Have a look at what it's feeding in you to do it to this degree, if this degree isn't, you know, always the most positive way of going about things, okay? But I have to stress, like, if you are someone that works in fields that's really like fighting for rights of others, trying to, you know, help the displaced, help the downtrodden, you know, it is a beautiful thing, and I will never want to discourage anyone from doing that. I think we just always have to check in with how our energy is in alignment with that. What is our purpose behind that? And what is it feeding in us? What ways can we maybe do it in a more healthy way, perhaps, okay? So that's what I'm getting from these so far, which is quite a lot. So let's move into the tarot now. And for that, we're going to use the Black Water Tarot. Is that what it's called? Oh my gosh, I'll put all the descriptions and the links down below. So let's move into the tarot now to see a little bit more about this sort of energy of the Samaritan and helping those that are struggling in life, but how it may be affecting us. Okay, where do I want to lay these cards? Let's move this down here. Okay, let's get some tarot for this. Whoop, what wanted to come out? We have the Magician, and it did want to fall out in reverse. Interesting. And the Five of Pentacles also came out with that. That's very interesting. Okay, let's get a few more cards here. What's that? The King of Swords. Okay. Let's clarify these then. What's this Magician about? Oops. Six of Wands. Interesting. It's a very violent Six of Wands. This is quite a violent one. I feel like I should have done a what's the word? We got Once again, there's so much fiery energy coming out here. So that's definitely something you're definitely in, I would say, a lot of masculine energy when it comes to this aspect of yourself. You know, and that's quite, you know, fast movement. And maybe there's just a sort of message here to check in with that, okay? Maybe, what's the word? Slow down a little bit. That's what I'm getting off that. Okay, 3 of Pentacles wanting to come out. I'll leave it at that for now and have a look. Okay. Interesting. Okay, because we have the Magician. It's the only card that you have in reverse. And that's telling me that you might be taking on a bit more than you really need to at this moment in time. You might not have these resources available to you in terms of what you're giving to this, okay? I feel like a frustration off that card as well, actually, because I feel like there's so much that you want to do and you might not feel you have what is, you know, you don't have everything available to you to do that right now. You know, because the Magician is all about manifestation and having the ability to bring these things, you know, to fruition. And with that in reverse, that means that there's some stuck energy there, okay? I also think it's an indication, like I said, that you may be a bit drained at the moment. And you, like I said, there's a lot of Wands energy. Like the Magician has everything. He has the Pentacle, the Wands, the Swords, and the Cups there at his kind of beck and call. But if you're too much in one energy, i.e. this Wands energy, perhaps you are burning yourself out. This is the message that's coming through very strongly. You're burning yourself out in whatever endeavor you're taking on, that in regard to the way you help others, okay, the way you go about it, or how much you take on other people's problems, okay. There's also a shadow element that's coming through now that might be something you're doing to kind of ignore something within your own self in life. Also, I want to say with this 5 of Pentacles, this sort of, again, we have that, this is, you know, this sort of the leper card, and you know, the original kind of Rider-Waite sort of signifies the people who are left outside, even out of the church. No one wants to help them. So there is that, you know, definitely you want to look after the underdog, but there may be a kind of indication that you have been that yourself. Okay, you may even be that. You may be leaving aspects of yourself out in the cold right now because you're focusing too much on lifting others up and not filling your own cup, because maybe there's some stuff you don't want to look at. Okay, that's coming through here strongly. There's this message to get into balance. Okay, when you've got into balance, this Magician will flip around. You know, when you've got, you know, there's literally, I think, you know, the only cup that's the cup is coming through. Look, the only suit that's not coming through in the tarot right now is the cups. We have Pentacles, we have Wands, we have a little bit of sword energy as well, but no cup, which is very interesting considering that it seems that you guys definitely are kind-hearted, and what you're doing is, you know, I would have thought emotionally led. So there is a burnout that's being indicated here. Your shadow wants to let you know that, you know, we know you want to help people. We know you've probably felt maybe like this in the past, and that is why you've gone about taking control. Okay, I've felt downtrodden. No one helped me. I can do that for others now. But maybe there's some healing that has to be done, and also some balance in, you know, where your energy goes is what the big message that's coming through is. Okay. And I'm not sure if you're paying mind to that, because if this King of Swords here, you're definitely a very clever person, analytical person, very in your head, like, I can make this happen. I see you as people that can make big things happen, you know, even though there's this frustration that what you want to come about isn't coming about yet. I feel like I have to show you that teamwork is going to help with that, with the 3 of Pentacles. That might be something that you struggle with, potentially. Or you might, because you like this control, there's this element of control here with the King of Swords. You know, I am slightly seeing him as the Emperor there, I have to be honest. And sometimes when we're in this kind of role of being the helper, being the Samaritan, we are in control. Okay, we are the person within power there who's sticking up for the other person. we're no longer feeling like this kind of character. And maybe we have to go back and look at this part of ourselves again and make peace with it. Because like I said, these are messages from your shadow. So there is something there that's created this aspect of yourself. And usually I feel like they're things that we have gone through ourselves, you know, the kind of causes and roles that we take on later on in life, usually quite personal, I think. That's what gives us that drive, because we have that empathy and sympathy. And that can be very beautiful when harnessed well. And I definitely feel like that you guys have that potential, if you haven't already done that at some point. But there is an indication there's burnout here. There's a plateau you've reached, a blockade you've reached with that. And now that means it's time to look at it a bit differently now. Maybe this gung-ho, like all steam ahead, you know, has worked in the past. But there's an indication that you may be running away from something from doing that. Especially with that panther energy that's been, and it may have been creeping up in you for a long time. You may know this. Okay, it's very hard energy to ignore, the panther energy. Very hard to ignore. I feel called to look at this Six of Wands now. The Six of Wands is all about victory, okay? About kind of basking in your success. This is quite a violent Six of Wands, you know, in this deck. And I feel like you have had successes in how you've helped others. But there is an indication coming through here, it might be a hard message to hear potentially, that there might be a bit of ego attached to this now. And where you've not been able to maybe bring in more successes, that's causing you frustration with this Magician in reverse. And that, when that happens, that definitely is an indication for us as an individual to look at, why are we doing this now? Okay, what is it serving in us? Okay, this need for success, this need to always help, this need to make things right for others, you know, being praised for it perhaps. This might be where you build your self-esteem from, potentially being that Samaritan. Okay, you know, sometimes giving isn't always, you know, an unselfish act. We do get stuff back from it. You have to put into balance, you know, you needing that recognition. Is that how you're building yourself up? And is that a strong foundation from which to build yourself from? You know, these are questions that your shadow are asking you to ask yourself. You know, only you can answer that. From my perspective, I feel that, you know, we have to find validation in other ways, shapes or forms. Self-validation, self-love, self-esteem. You know, because things are not always going to go to plan. We're not always going to be able to help people. You know, it's not our job to heal others. You know, we can be there to help, to facilitate, but it's not our job to enable them or to always get them over the finish line. We're always going to be disappointed if we feel that we can, and that might have drained you. You might have gone through some loss or a lack of success in your perspective in this regard, and that's left you not feeling so great. So that's definitely something to look into. With the Page of Wands here, there is like a restlessness that I'm picking up off of you here. A restlessness that things haven't maybe gone the way you would like. And also, you know, but I would say like the curiosity and acceptance that you might need to like go back to the drawing board with this page. You still have that enthusiasm, you know, that curiosity there with the page. You know, to kind of start anew and maybe look at things differently. There is that aspect, but it can be difficult to kind of step from a king into a page. I can definitely understand that. That's something that has to be looked at, you know, in terms of ego and, you know, the role that ego is playing there. But I definitely see that within you, this kind of, there's a new beginning here with this page. If you're willing to embrace that energy that you have, you know, that enthusiasm you still have. But an indication to slow down, like I said again, slow down. Go back to the drawing board. Try and get all of the things on your table in order, okay? Look at where you may have gone a bit awry in this kind of endeavor or this kind of purpose and this kind of pursuit in the past. Inject some new life into it, okay? And that's going to take some self-care, I want to say. And also your first bit of advice, first and foremost, is teamwork, okay? Let people help you. Look for mentors, okay? Look for others that have a good work-life balance if this is part of your work. Or even other people you know that do these sort of things in terms of, like, you know, whether it's on a personal level, they're always there to help others, but they seem to be balancing it well. Or if they work for charities or they work for big causes, see how they, you know, look at people you admire who you feel quite balanced in that regard, okay? Even look to yourself if you've been this in the past, or you feel like you carry a lot of those traits now still. What did you do differently, you know, to kind of make this kind of go forward and work in a more positive way for you as well as others? Okay, that Three of Pentacles is coming through strongly there. It is kind of interesting that even still, I feel this Three of Pentacles, there is only one person kind of doing the work on this card while the other two's watch on. Maybe this is, you know, you looking to someone who's, you know, maybe that could be your mentor and they're teaching you, or vice versa. You know, you're taking people on, but these are people that are ultimately going to help you long term, is what I'm getting from that. Okay, there has to be this sharing of responsibility, I want to say, not you taking all of this on your own. You know, as much as you might be this King of Swords character, it can be quite tiring, and it seems it may be leaving you quite burnt out. Okay, relinquish some of this control, you know, and let help in. You know, it's better to have, you know, they say too many cooks in the kitchen, but genuinely when it comes to certain things, it's better to have that support system, better to have 4 pillars than 1, you know. You can't be carrying the weight of the world just on your back. You're not Atlas, you know. Better to have other people that can be points of call for you and for those you're trying to help, I would say. You know, it takes a village to raise a child, they say, and it takes that often when we're helping others recover, or when we're building support groups or communities to kind of uplift others that might need that help. I feel like numbers help with that 100%. And if we can get past the sort of ego and the want to control and be in control of how things go, you know, we can really like kind of stay open to that help coming and take a weight off our own shoulders in that regard. Doesn't mean, like, you know, you could have a project that you're very passionate about that you're struggling to get off of by yourself, but if you let others, you know, just kind, like-minded people who might not be as experienced as you, you know, but you know, like, they're going to help you, they're going to take the burden off a bit, you know, whether this is you training kind of other people in your workplace, whether that's sort of support workers, social workers, etc., that you're just taking that burden off yourself. And you know, okay, I might be investing in teaching these guys how to do what I do right now, but in the long term they're going to provide, you know, a crazy amount of support, and that's good for all round. Bring people in, don't keep it very insular, is what I'm being told here. Don't keep it all, oh, it's me and I have to be the person that helps everyone, you know, because I do think there is a bit of ego attached to that, you know, from that shadow element. I definitely have to say that. So, right, that's what else am I getting? Let's see if there's anything else I'm missing in the cards right now. No. I think we should look at some advice then, okay? Definitely look at some advice now. We already have the advice to definitely lessen the burden by, you know, allowing people to help you help others, okay? And also this indication to look to self, analyze self, slow down a little bit, okay? You have to be gung-ho, look at the ego a bit, okay? Try and get your emotions in order, because like I said, there's a lack of cups here, and giving is a very emotional job, so there's definitely an indication of burnout. So there has to be ways to get that back into balance, I feel. Get that yin and energy back, okay? Because there's so much fire. We need that kind of watery water vibe to come. So I'm going to pull a couple of oracle cards. First and foremost, we're going to pull from the Queen of the Moon oracle, because, you know, that shadow aspect of the moon there, I thought that would be quite a good one to look into, and it also gives good messages. So well, straight off the bat when I split it, balance. So balance is going to be very key here, and wisdom. So maybe seeking out a mentor. Just give us one card, please. What can help pile number one, you know, with this sort of kind of drive to help? Like, what can help them not feel so burnt out? Protection. Interesting. We've got that sort of Four of Swords element here. Definitely, you know, and sovereignties here. That's very interesting at the bottom of the deck. So what I'm getting off the bat from that is you need to take rest, okay? You need to set up boundaries with people. I feel like when we're in these sort of giving jobs, whether it's social care, you know, looking after those with addiction, working for charities, looking after those who have been through a lot of hardship, you know, trying to stick up for those who are kind of ostracized in society, etc. I feel like, you know, especially if we're an empathic person, I definitely get that vibe from you. It can really drain us, so we have to have good boundaries there, okay? That is going to be key for you guys, I promise you. Please look into that, you know, whether that's you saying, you know, once you get back from your hours of work, you know, you're definitely having to say out loud to yourself, okay, that's me, this is my energy now, I release anything that's not mine. Things of that nature. Tourmaline is a great crystal if you believe in crystals for that sort of protection, whether you wear it in some way, shape or form, or just have it on your person. That can definitely play a part in helping with that. Just really trying to switch off, and I know it's very hard when you're in jobs like this, or you are a person that really takes on, you know, whether this is friends, family, etc., you know, looking after people who are unwell perhaps. It can really feel like a 24-hour thing, but you need to have that time for yourself. That's really coming through strongly. You really need to take that rest time, and for sovereignty for yourself, but also to allow other people to step into their power. Sometimes we've got to, you know, take a step back in another's healing journey, you know, when we've offered enough support, and this is very difficult to know when to do this, but there comes, you know, a time where we actually may be hindering a person by constantly stepping in, okay? That is something that you really do need to bear in mind, is what I'm being told. I'm going to go to the Iris Oracle now, because I feel like this oracle can definitely speak quite well in terms of giving us advice in these kind of matters. So rest is going to be important, maintaining boundaries, finding the best ways for you to do that, switching off time, okay? Maybe taking a break, taking a holiday, taking some time off if this is actually your career and work, okay? Definitely that indication. With that bird energy there as well, I don't know why I'm getting communication from that, like writing a letter. I don't know why that's coming true. Maybe journaling, writing out what you're struggling with, or writing to a mentor, because a mentor has definitely come through in this. Even with this King of Swords, I get a mentor vibe off of that. Okay, what have we got? Party leader. Interesting that we have the leader there. That's giving me kind of try and go out and have some fun is what I'm getting from that card. Definitely music's coming through, concerts. I think you need to have some me time. Again, is sort of reiterating both of these are sixes, you know. That's interesting. It's very interesting because the sixth house is related to health and surface, you know, so maybe this definitely is a career for you guys, but definitely there's indication you need to look after your own as well as others, okay? This sort of acts of surface, these acts of service, you know, you need to look into that. They may be, because with this party leader, it's also like a person that's sort of shouting over you in a way, that's kind of taking you away from yourself, and you need to not ignore yourself in this with this card. So please bear that in mind. There is an indication to sort of kind of go and have a bit of fun, but look after yourself, okay? Your whole world doesn't have to revolve around, you know, being of service to others, and yeah, burning yourself out in that regard. Okay, let's get another card from the Believe in Your Own Magic Oracle now, because I feel like these cards can give us the kind of nice messages they have. Let's see. Okay, messages from the shadow. How can we help this element of our probably over-helping pile 1? Give us one card here. Homeward. Take yourself out on a date. Ah, bless. Again, this sort of indication to have some time away for yourself. Animals, birds are coming up again, which is interesting. So that might be something to kind of step into, go out into nature, have a break, maybe some solitude away from others, get your, look and see where your boundaries are, get to know who you are again, maybe outside of just being a help to others. I think do some self-exploration, bring yourself back to self with that homeward card there, Again, another 6, 4 into, that's insane. Okay, you guys definitely this message, the synchronicity, the acts of service and health, it's too strong for you not to either work in this sort of field or take up a big part of your life purpose right now, genuinely. And you have to look into the reasons behind that, is what I'm being told. And you have to look after yourself. You are burning out, especially like if under this context of what we're in now. Maybe if you are a hospital worker or social care worker, and everything we've been through in the last few years, God, there must be a strain there. And the message, I feel called to show you the message for this. Homeward. Take yourself out on a date, slow down. It's time to press pause and contemplate before the next leg of your journey. It's in those solitary, introspective moments where we learn the most interesting and eye-opening things about ourselves. Take yourself out on a date of sorts, even if it's just a quiet and cozy night at home. Enjoy your own company. Yes, this needs to be separated from others in a good way so you can work on yourself and look after yourself. Self-care is the biggest message coming through right now, and how you can help this. This is what this shadow wants to tell you. You need to look after yourself now. If you want to be of the best help to others, you have to look after yourself. It's that age-old thing. You need to fill your cup first before filling others' cup, because there's so much energy of burnout here, especially the Magician in reverse there. This 5 of Pentacles, this need to rest with this protection card. I think your message is very clear, pile number 1, and I really hope that you can, take that time to sort of reevaluate the way you may be, giving too much to others, and why you may be doing that. Okay, because I want you guys to be healthy, happy, hopeful again, that you can make a difference, and you can, because it seems like you guys have got a big heart, very empathetic, very empathic, I would say also. But you just need some rest right now. You need a cup of tea, you need a bit of nature, a bit of home time, dress up in something that's comfy. That's what I'm getting off of that. And rest, and just slow down with all this wand fire energy for a bit. Cultivate that cup, find that cup, because it's not turned up in this reading yet. Okay, and fill it back up. So guys, I'm going to leave it there. So that's the message from your shadows. I hope it resonated. If it did, let me know. Leave me a comment, like, subscribe, all of that. And thank you so much for your time, for taking the time to watch this. I really hope it does help, and I really hope you look after yourselves, guys, because you seem like you've got a good heart. So I'll see you in the next one. Bye. Hi, pile number 2. If this is the card you picked, then this is the reading for you. So this is a very interesting group. I'm going to tell you what I'm intuitively getting off of your first card initially. And that is a lot of feminine, a lot of mothering energy. We have like this pregnant figure here, with that sort of Empress energy, I want to say, which is so interesting. This is coming up as a shadow, but I'll let you know my thoughts on that as we go on. So we see this figure here looking very serene, You know, you're a creator. You know, in one hand you have this staff, but to the side of you there's growth. You have this tree, birds are there, you're cultivating. You know, you have a big heart. Pile number 2, I definitely want to let you know that. A big heart, very generous. I think you are quite a spiritual group, I want to say. You're definitely in touch with that aspect of yourself. That makes me think that you're quite a sensitive person, and you're also a very mothering person. I feel like that's coming through very strongly. Okay, I'm also seeing this as the moon behind you, so this is definitely your shadow. This element of you is definitely linked to this side of yourself. You know, with the moon, what's kind of hidden, that hidden aspect. And I feel like yours is definitely along the lines of what your role is in people's lives, especially with a kind of mothering overtone or undertone. We have this, I'm very drawn to this sort of heart kind of chakra thing here, and it's so much light energy, but there's a darkness around that, you know, this heart chakra. There may be some pain there in this giving. I feel like you're a giver, very empathic, but there's something that's blocking you from your truest kind of form, I would say, with this hill here, kind of blocking partially, which I'm seeing as the moon, could be the sun and your happiness too. And although we can see a lot of light aspects in this card, I'm drawn to the fact that down in the roots, down below, you know, the more core aspects of this figure and this stave, that hill is kind of blocking out that light and that illumination. You know, there's darkness under this sort of light kind of exterior, I want to say, what you show people. And I'm getting a sort of element of people pleasing and kind of being everything to everyone. That's what I'm getting off this card initially, especially because I'm getting that mother energy there. You know, I feel like when we take on that sort of mother role, sometimes it can be like I have to be everything to everyone, you know. And I find that very interesting. I find it very interesting that the hands on this figure are where the darkness is laying. That's very interesting to me. The hands are something I link very much to like the physical, what we physically can make and create. And I feel like there's a blockage here between what you have in your inside, your intuition, your inner essence, and what you feel you can bring into the material, what you're actually creating, you know. So there's a sort of stumbling block with this creative element of this sort of Empress figure too. So that's what I'm getting so far off of this card. I'm going to put this to the side and we're going to grab your other 2 oracles to just get a bit more of an overview. Okay, yes. Shapeshifter you guys got, and the elephant energy. So we're definitely getting that matriarchal energy there. Whenever I see an elephant, I always think of that sort of matriarch, you know. They are kind of matriarchal societies, you know. They are kind of led by their oldest females, and the men kind of leave the herd as they get older. Also seeing again that sort of third eye activated in you. That's again that sort of high priestess empress energy, very feminine energy from you guys. But obviously this is like, what is your shadow trying to illuminate? Messages from your shadow is what this reading is about. So we're going to be looking a bit more on the darker elements of those, you know, the shadow attributes of those kind of archetypes. And that's very interesting that sort of mothering energy is coming up here again. It also looks like this elephant is like kind of charging into us, which is interesting. There is an element of being a bit unbalanced in this, and maybe in what you're giving, I want to say, because there's one tusk missing. Okay, obviously tusks and ivory are very prized possessions, you know, for an elephant. Unfortunately, many of them have lost their lives by having these, you know, treasured by us and taken away as part of them. It's a huge part of them, and I feel like part of you is either not being able to be grown and shown yet, or you feel you're out of balance and it's been taken away, I want to say, from that. But you're holding on to your truth and your passions. Here we've got two figures holding. We have the elephant and this figure. Definitely your heart, your passions, your heart desires. I feel like they've been put on the back burner, I want to say. Whether you are a mother or you fulfill that role for other people, I feel like there's an element of keeping what your true heart desires are to yourself and not being able to bring them into the material world here. Not being able to focus on them, perhaps. And then we have this very interesting figure who again has this serene, I don't know if you can see this sort of meditative kind of pose, and that's for the shapeshifter. Now this definitely ties in very well, I would say. So the light attributes are skill at navigating through different levels of consciousness, ability to see the potential in everything. Interesting. And then the shadow attribute is projecting any image that serves your personal agenda in the moment. Interesting. Okay, so I want to say that this sort of mothering and shape-shifting is coming through very strong. It came through at the beginning. It's this element of trying to please everyone, okay? And that's not really helping you fully be in alignment with yourself and your true desires, okay? Because we can't be everything to everyone. When we really embody that sort of Empress energy, that nurturer energy, that creative energy, we can definitely fall into those darker aspects of her, you know. You want to be of help. You want to put all your energy into all these different creations. You want to, you know, nurture them. But unfortunately, you know, sometimes that's just not doable. Again, a lot of the time it's not doable. And I feel like sometimes we get a bit lost and we forget who we truly are, our true essence here. Whatever this burning desire is, it feels like it's getting lost within this pursuit of yours. I want to say, I feel like a loss of identity here, you know. I see this meditation pose. It's like almost trying to ground yourself again, trying to get back to who are you, you know. You may be showing this very calm, very nurturing, very like together person on the outside for others, and you are all those things. You definitely have the potential, you know. You bring growth, you bring creativity, you bring nurturing. I definitely get that from you guys. Again, I said I feel like you might be a very spiritual group, but there's something lurking in the depths. That's, again, we have like this darkness in the bottom of this figure and here as well. That's a block. It's blocking you. Something is blocking you from your truth, I want to say. And it's this want to be everything to everyone. That is what's coming through strongly. That is the main message I feel your shadow wants to get across to you. I feel like it may have come from not feeling safe at a certain point in your life. There's this sort of people-pleasing element that I feel is coming through from your group strongly. I don't want to kind of upset people. I want to be there for people. But I feel like your essence of yourself may have got lost in that a little bit. I feel like you guys are definitely doing work on this though. I have to say, with this sort of meditative pose and this sort of a lot of light energy in the kind of upper chakras of these figures, I want to say, even all of them really, that you are doing work on this, or it's something that you may be aware of. I'm very drawn to the ear, well, both of the elephant here and with the earrings on this figure. There's something about listening that's coming up strongly here. I don't know if you're someone that gets messages that way, that enjoys meditation of that nature, like listening to kind of meditation. I'm also getting hypnotherapy coming through for some reason, music therapy, things of this nature. There's something very strong about listening coming through. You having to listen to your heart, or getting to a space where you can listen to what your true wants and needs are and who you actually are. That's coming through strongly. Working with the moon is coming through strongly. Yeah, very interesting pile this. I'm getting witchy vibes from this. I don't know if some of you identify as a witch. there's just a lot of feminine energy, but it seems like feminine energy that might have got lost along the way, because you know, that feminine energy is the natural kind of nurturing energy, and sometimes that means we kind of lose ourselves in that, or give too much of ourselves away. And I think that is the main message that's coming through for you guys today so far. So let's move this down so we can, you know, keep an eye on it and see what your tarot has to say. So let's just, I've got the sun in reverse there. It's a bit sad. Maybe you guys haven't found your happiness yet, and you've been really trying to help others with theirs, I want to say. You're a very in tune group though, I want to say that for sure, and you are going to get into alignment. I feel I need to tell you that. Is this shadow element, I feel, stemmed from feeling unsafe in the past, or maybe not having that sort of figure, that mothering figure for yourself at some point, or maybe one that was a bit overbearing. We got the Lovers. That's sweet energy there. I feel like I should say there is nudity in this deck. If anyone's offended by that, I apologise. Lovers energy is coming out first there again. We've got 2 females in that card also. A lot of growth in that card. I said you got a big heart. This has a lot to do with your heart chakra. Definitely. The things that are coming through strongly here are your heart chakra, your root chakra, and your third eye, which is interesting. These are the things that you might want to look into. Slightly out of balance, and that all starts with that root. Like I said, I feel like a sense of safety may have been threatened in the past. That is where this sort of potential kind of not knowing exactly who you are and what you want, but this kind of very nurturing energy is coming from, that might have gone into a shadow aspect of the Empress. This kind of people pleasing, being everything to everyone, needs to be looked at. This is the shadow that needs to be looked at, and this is what it's trying to tell you. Get another card, please. Oh, this came out for the last group as well. Again, the Magician in reverse. So feeling like you don't have everything available to you right now to manifest what you want, which is seeing, you know, it does seem like you're stuck here. You've hit a blockade. Maybe you have started on your sort of spiritual journey, or this some sort of healing journey, I want to say, looking into meditation, looking into therapy, looking into retreats, looking into different kind of modes of getting in touch with yourself and your inner wants and needs. But you feel you've hit a blockade with that. That's interesting. The Tower wanted to chuck itself out there, so I'm going to take it. And the Chariot was underneath that. Whoa, we got, so far, all major arcanas on the table. So there we go. You're definitely, this is a profound group. Felt that from the beginning, to be honest. I think we got healers and spiritual kind of leaders potentially in this group. 10 of Wands in reverse. Pile number 2. Interesting. Cards coming in reverse. That's definitely a block. The World. Oh my goodness. Very interesting. Page of Swords is your bottom deck, and there is another card that's flown out that I feel I need to take, and it's the 8 of it's the 8 of Cups in reverse. Now technically it did fall out before the World, so I'm going to bear that in mind. Okay, let's see what we can get here. Big energy. Whew. You guys are in an awakening, I want to say, right off the bat. You're in an awakening right now. If you're not in it, you're really about to head into it, and you're going to head into it very fast, I want to say, with this Chariot energy here. And it's going to start with a choice, and I think that choice is choosing you. You have to choose you, is what I'm getting through very strongly. You have to choose what it is where you feel the most love. That is what's going to guide you. Again, with that heart chakra here, where are you feeling the most like yourself? Where are you feeling that warmness in your heart with what you're doing? You know, are you doing things out of love anymore if you are trying to be everything for everyone? Or are you feeling burnt out? Your intuition is off the scale. Please listen to it. And there's a kind of phrase that says, you know, people worry, like I've been the same. How do I know what's my intuition and what's my fears or my anxieties or my hang-ups? Your intuition is that kind of niggling one that kind of comes up and it's quite quiet. Your anxieties and fears are going to shout and your intuition is going to whisper, but it's going to be a whisper that's going to be hard to ignore, okay? And this, I'm drawn back to this elephant energy again as well. This is going to change for you, because when this elephant comes up, it means one of two things. It can be this elephant is going to bulldoze all these obstacles out your way, and we're going to get to that, because sure as hell we have some obstacles here for sure, some blockages, or it's going to put blockages in your way so that you are redirected onto the route that you need to be on. Okay, which is interesting because we have this tower shake up here and the world card coming through, so there's something big that's about to change in your life, 100%. But I'm being told to tell you, do not be fearful of that. It is what's meant to come to pass for you to get to where you need to be, this next stage, okay, the world, okay? And you're ready for this. You can see you're ready for this with this sort of light aspect here, this sort of elevation that you want to take. It's just you're holding on. There's some attachments here, okay? You're rooted down by some attachments, whether that's family, obligation to others, obligation to a past version of yourself, I want to say an old story of yourself that you have outgrown, and you need to kind of catch up with that. Making peace with your past, I want to say, with this root chakra here, again, you're very rooted by something in the past, okay? And it might have been something that gave you stability at one point, but I'm being told right now it's not serving your highest good anymore. Maybe you as a people pleaser in your youth and your childhood because it's what kept you safe, okay? That is something we learn at a very young age, you know, to people please, because it can keep us secure when we're in, you know, maybe slightly unstable situations. But as we get older and we keep doing that, we're just going to keep repeating kind of toxic relationship patterns, okay, that do not serve our highest good, and we're not that person from the past anymore. I don't think that you guys are. I think you've definitely already elevated from that 100%. So you got to bring love into this choice. You need to go where you feel your heart is telling you to go, not where you feel burnt out. That is when you're going to start making movements. That's what I'm being told with this Chariot here. Now, there's a confidence lacking within you, I want to say, and I think it comes from being slightly unsure of who you are. If you've been this sort of shapeshifter person for a while, or this kind of I'm going to be everything to everyone and that's all I know how to be, then you might not have had time to get to know who you really are, the essence of you. Although I do feel like you guys have definitely started along on that journey, or at least you're starting to question this kind of past ways of being. I definitely get that. So that's interesting. There is a lack of confidence here. You feel like you don't potentially have what it takes to carry on, you know. You feel a little bit lost here with this Magician in the reverse, that you cannot manifest this change for yourself. I'm here to tell you that you can and you will, okay? You definitely feel quite stuck with this 10 of Wands, you know, it's in the reverse, and that's a heavy weight right there, you know. That's a suspended 10 of Wands. It's like you've been carrying the weight of the world on your shoulders for very long now, and that must be tiring, and God, you must be a strong person to have done that. But I have to let you know, the 10 of Wands is the end, okay? You have 3 cards even of the endings here, 4 if this really with the 8 of Cups in reverse again. There's this sort of attachment and not letting go for some reason here. But you have so many cards of change. If these are all flipped up, the last 4 cards in your reading would be all cards of change, okay? Big change, monumental change, good change. I need to let you know that change is good. Maybe this is something that you're struggling with, this notion of going into something different because it's unfamiliar to you, and that is scary, and that threatens your security. Stepping into another role, maybe you are a mother, and maybe your children have left the nest, and that's like, wow, what do I do now? Okay, who am I? Go out and rediscover yourself, okay? That's what I'm being told. This is the messages that are coming through. You guys are already getting straight up advice. Like I said, go where the love is. Go and look into your hobbies, your interests. We've got the Page of Swords here. This is a curious person who wants to learn. Doesn't matter what your age is. That is someone who wants to kind of learn, okay, is curious to learn, maybe going back into study, something of that nature, maybe studying with these, like, with healers, I want to say. If there's something within the healing kind of realm you're interested in learning, like a complementary therapy, that's coming through strong. Learn that. Maybe learn Reiki 1 first, you know, to get yourself more in order. Look at these chakras, like I mentioned, the root, the third eye, and the heart, and see if that helps you, you know. And then through doing that inner work on yourself, then maybe you go on, you do Reiki 2, and you learn how to do it for others, you know. You still have that ability to help people. If that is a very important part of your life, to nurture people, then you can still have that. But it's about getting in alignment with yourself now. And I want to say, do not be scared of change, because it seems with the shapeshifter here, you have the ability to do so, okay? You may have been using it in a way that was to protect yourself, and maybe not 100% authentic all the time, in terms of trying to adapt. But it means that you have the ability to be changeable and adaptable. So do not fear this change, okay? Do not fear it, is what I'm being told here. I feel this change is going to come. Whether with the Taoist, whether you embrace it or not, but I feel that, you know, you can embrace this, okay? You really can. And it's about stepping away from past pains and burdens and past attachments with this 8 of Cups. If I flip this back round, okay? The 8 of Cups, you know, it's that choice that you're walking away from what you've had because you believe that on the other side, the 2 cups, that 2 of Cups is better for you. Maybe for some of you, this isn't just your self-identity. Maybe it is a relationship. Maybe it's a job, you know, something you've been in for a long time. It's a role you've been in for a long time. And that can be hard. But this cycle, it's time for it to come to an end, you know, with the World card here. It's part, you know, major arcana is part of the plan for you. I feel like I need to kind of clarify this 10 of Wands and 8 of Cups, please. Can we clarify this? I feel like once this is cleared out with this Chariot, it's fast movement, 100% fast movement to this big change that's going to be better for you, far more beneficial. Some of you may be fixed signs. Obviously with the World, we've got a lot of the fixed signs there. We have Leo, Taurus, who else do we have? Who else is a fixed sign? Is it Aquarius and Scorpio? Yeah. What's this 10 of Wands about, please? What's this 10 of Wands? Oh, a whole load of cards. I wanted to tell a story there. No, I'm not happy with that. What is this 10 of Wands, please? Tell me, clarify that for me. Why is it in reverse? Got a 10 of Pentacles in reverse. Okay, it's this reluctancy. You feel like you're walking away from something you've put a lot of time and you've built up, okay? And this 10 of Pentacles, this could be home, family. Really and truthfully, it could be as big as that. But like I want to tell you, on the other side of that is the Sun just popped up upright this time for you guys. It was bottom, remember? It was reversed on the bottom before. It's also this indication of new love here. That's something that you're concerned about, being alone. So you've put, there's this attachment, is I've put so much hard work into building this up. How can I walk away from it, you know? And, you know, it is that it can be an attachment, definitely for fixed signs if you're Taurus, Leo, things like that. But this is something, you know, as someone that has these kind of placements in my chart, it's quite difficult for us. Change is not something that we like as fixed signs, especially when we've put work into something with the kind of people that will stay in relationships far longer than we should because of a sense of loyalty and a sense of investment. But there's an indication here that, you know, this is not where you're meant to be, okay? It's not where you're meant to be anymore. Okay, can you tell me what this 8 of Cups was? And the Empress was reversed there, which is interesting. Yeah, the Empress is popping up again. it's not fulfilling you. It's more like this dark side of the Empress. This is what's coming out here, like I was kind of picking up on in this first one. The kind of over mothering, over nurturing, you know, giving away too much of self, you know, and not having an identity of your own, and then maybe becoming resentful of those that you're doing that for. And that's not a good energy. That needs to come to an end, is what I'm being told. And I feel it's going to come to an end, whether you like, you know, you're going to take that or not. With the Tower there, it's time now. So have the courage to step into that, is what I'm being told. Your shadow really wants you to look at that. Look at this role you've been playing and actually see how it's been serving you and how it's even serving those around you. Okay, maybe it's time to put your creativity and your creation into something else. Maybe it's not about family or a business anymore. You need to look at yourself, what makes you happy. We have the Fool card at the bottom there. Okay, taking a risk now, doing something new, setting off on something new. Okay, indication. I'm seeing a lot of animals popping up for you guys as well, so maybe they can be something that's going to help you through this. Okay, you need to step out of this more dark side of the Empress energy. You know, flip her around. Look how beautiful she is when she's flipped around. Bring that cycle to an end and bring it back to what it needs to be. Bring it into balance, you know. Carefree. Look at this person, all their wishes coming true. You know, and they're kind of sitting, it almost looks like in the rubble of a tower, you know, willing to bring it down and start again, okay, and happier to do so. I find that very, very poignant where she's actually sat here. Sort of definitely looks like, I don't know if you can see, she's sat in the rubble, and especially she's coming under the tower as well. Let that tower fall. If it's not serving you, let it fall. It doesn't matter what it is. Even if it's something you put your blood, sweat and tears into, it's not serving you anymore. And it's keeping you stuck. You know, you seem to be a very spiritual person, a very gifted person, a very good manifester. And yet that is blocked because of this, because of these attachments. Okay. And your chariot is upright, you know, your chariot wants to wants to go on, you know. Do not hinder yourself. This is where you need to be embracing this energy. What do you love? Bring love back into your life. That's what's going to move you forward. Don't bring in what because you feel you've invested. You have to stay there now, because it's not helping you. It's really not helping you staying in this role and not walking away from things, you know. Let's embrace that change, that risk, that full energy. It's coming through strongly for you guys. I think we're going to leave it with the tarot there and actually just look into some more oracles now to see, like, what's the advice to help with this moving forward? Because I know I'm saying it, and I know as a fixed sign also myself with a lot of fixed energy in my chart, it's difficult, you know, especially when there's investment, especially when it's potentially family, business, things of that nature, things that are keeping you stuck and rooted. But it seems like your roots, if you are a fixed sign, they are important to us. That root chakra is very important to us fixed signs. That security is very important to us, especially if you're a Taurian, I would say, or you have a lot of Taurus in your chart. You know, why am I going to walk away from that relationship? Why am I going to walk away from that business I've spent so much time making and building? You know, I don't want to let it go, but there's a time and you have to let these things go. So what's the advice from the Queen of the Moon Oracle? Wolf Moon came out. Hunger. Very interesting, and that's breaking down into an 11 or 2. Okay. We got discernment on the bottom here. So what I'm getting from this card right off the bat is you needing to follow your calling first and foremost. You know, this kind of wolf is howling to the moon, you know, again, and love that feminine energy is coming through strong. This hunger, this passion, there's something you have, a desire you have that you have kept locked down, I want to say. You know, sometimes if you are a female, you identify as a feminine, you know, there's a lot of stuff that gets put on the back burner for us while we're trying to fulfill these sort of societal female roles, etc., especially in terms of being a mother, I would say. And there's this, it's deep within you, this calling, you know, something you want to do, following your passions, you know, the hunger there, that sort of fire. Under the Fool, you actually had the King of Wands, for like showing you that. So there's definitely that fire energy that's coming through there, wanting to sort of run with the wolves. You know, I don't know if you've read that book, that might be something that interests you. Women that run with wolves, have a look at it. Embracing these other sides of our femininity, you know. Definitely something about following your passions is coming there, 100%. And having to kind of just put aside any shame you may feel about that. I don't know why I'm getting shame coming up with that card. Again, with the 2, like creating something new and something stable. You know, with this second house too, you get this sort of element of like the material, your possessions. So there's something linked to that as well, like really weighing up what that kind of means to you. If you're afraid of walking away from things like that, really look into that. Look at how happy is that actually making you. And that also, this can break down to the 11th house, which is your friendships. Look at who's surrounding you. Look at what hobbies and stuff are calling to you, I want to say. What communities deep down you want to be a part of that might help you get more in touch with yourself, you know. Who are giving and not taking away. Look at those interests. I feel like you've already started this, definitely. Or there is a niggling thought. This card also like harks to that kind of story about us each having that wolf inside us, okay? And then you ask, well, what one is the more dominant? It depends which one you feed, right? Are you going to feed all of the loss and what am I going to lose? Or are you going to feed what can I gain from stepping out of this? That's something to definitely look at, especially in terms of your material world, I want to say. Because if it's just hindering you right now, then it might not be the best place to keep kind of putting stock in, all right? I want to say. With the discernment card here, you know, and you've got patience underneath that also, and faith underneath that, there is the indication that this doesn't have to be rash, okay? Like I said, sometimes the elephant is there to create blockades. Maybe these blockades are here for a reason right now, because you shouldn't be hurtling too fast with this Chariot, okay? But take that time, look at it, reflect, okay? Start that kind of, that shift if you can, okay? So that you're not kind of rudely awakened by a Tower moment. That's what I feel I need to tell you from those cards. Okay, next up we're going to take from the Iris Oracle. What is the Iris Oracle's advice? What's going to help pile number 2 with overcoming these sort of attachments to kind of past selves? You know, maybe things they've spent a lot of time building up that might be holding them back. Sitting on top of the world. Okay, pile number 2. This is a bit of a sassy one. I like this. And with that breaking down to a 5, I'm fairly sure that's all about self-expression, okay? It's finding out who you are now. Look at this figure on top of the world, you know, figuring out what they want to do. It's the story. You are the protagonist in your story. This is about you now, okay? Who are you? What are your wants? What are your needs? Self-discovery, that is coming through so strong. Self-discovery, and it's all about what make-believe on the bottom there. Creating yourself again. This is going to be getting involved in kind of creative projects, you know, nurturing and creating something for yourself. Maybe it's not things outside of yourself, I want to say, because you definitely have that Empress creative energy. Doing that, exploring yourself again, okay, getting out there again. Got this like, you know, looking at things with fresh eyes, getting back out into the world. Maybe you've been stuck in this role or this place, you know, for so long that you've kind of lost your sort of, what's the word? Lost your shine, your glow a little bit, forgotten who you are. And this is this indication to kind of get out of that. And by doing that, it's going to be through hobbies, I want to say. Definitely kind of an indication to look at things that you get enjoyment from. Again, like I said, just falling under the Lover's card, you know, embracing that femininity. You know, I don't know why I'm seeing things like burlesque for some reason. For some of you, that might be something that, you know, intrigues you, getting in touch with those other feminine aspects of yourself outside of maybe motherhood, you know, feeling beautiful in yourself again and in your body. We have like a naked figure there, you know, having all eyes on you, okay? Self-empowerment, all of these things, they're going to help you, you know, with your confidence to kind of, and feeling good, to help you kind of step out of this kind of stuck energy, I want to say. you know. I feel like there's a time in your life you may have felt like this. Maybe for some of you is when you were younger. Just maybe go back to some old interests is what I feel like is coming through there. You know, painting, dancing's coming through, writing and performing. You know, there's definitely a performing element there. All eyes on you, I'm seeing with that eye. Do that again. It's never too late. It doesn't matter who you are, what age you are, what kind of professional life you've been in that maybe might have taken you away from that, or, you know, kind of looking after kids potentially might have taken you away from that. Step back into it. I'm going to get one more card now from the Believe in Your Own Magic, because you guys definitely have a lot of magic here. It's just a little bit stunted with that Magician in reverse, but we're going to be seeking to get that kind of sorted. So what's this? What's going to help with the card 2's magic? Give me one card, please. Give us one card. Let's re-establish that magic. What we got? Universe. We're all just stardust. Well, they're letting you know, well, first and foremost, you are magic. So remember that. Okay. And we got on the bottom deck energy, sun. Paint the sun back into your sky. So the creative arts. Maybe you were a painter. There's definitely a creator in you. Whoever's watching this pile, there's something about creation here. 100% is coming through so strongly. You're performers or something of that nature, artistic people. Okay, with that Empress energy coming through twice. It's just not been honed in that way, maybe in your life for a long time. So, you know, going back to your roots there with the 4th house, you know, that's something, again, that stability. Maybe going back to childhood sort of hobbies and loves are what going to help you with this. You know, it might actually help heal that sort of root chakra that might be causing you a bit of issues in terms of this people pleasing. Get back to the good things from your roots, and not just maybe the things that caused pain and created these shadow elements to kind of potentially overtake. Let's read the message for this actually with the universe card here. 31. We're all just stardust. When we're children, we can barely comprehend the vastness of our own lives, let alone the existence of other planets. It's not long before we learn we aren't the center of the universe. We are but specks of stardust in one of its many skies. However, we must all still do our part to take care of our own individual worlds, or else it throws everything else off balance. Make sure to keep balance in your life, but don't forget the big picture stuff. Recycle, don't litter, and give thanks. There you go. Getting back to yourself. Remembering that you have to look after yourself, you know. And that's going to help the bigger picture. If you want to be a help and nurturer and help with creating things, looking after yourself is a good place to start, pile number 2. And you've got this. So much magic in you guys. Like I said, maybe we've got some healers amongst you here for sure. Maybe this is what you're meant to be going into, the creative arts, and you're going to help heal through that. You could potentially be helping a lot of people. That's something that's important to you, just by kind of honing your own special gifts. So please take the time to do that, man. Do what you love. Find what you love. Find yourself again. This is what this shadow wants to illuminate for you today. Okay, because big things are coming for you. Big things are destined with this world card. So many fate cards. The Elephant, the World, the Tower, you know, Chariot, Lovers, you know. I'm just going to start with a choice, okay? Choose love, pile 2. Choose doing what you love. Choose what brings love into your life, you know. What makes that heart chakra light up, you know. Stay true to yourself. That's what I want to leave it on for you guys. So thank you for taking the time to hear this reading. I really hope it resonates, and I hope it helps in some way, shape or form. If it does, please don't hesitate to let me know how. You know, comments are always welcome. Likes, subscribe if you like the channel. It all helps. And I really wish you the best with this endeavour, honestly. I really feel you guys have got something special and you can do it. So I'll see you in the next one, guys. Bye. Hi, pile number 3s. If this is the card you chose, then this is your reading. As you know, we're going to be looking into what messages has your shadow got for you. What is it trying to shine a light on? This is a really interesting card because there's a lot of kind of light energy within this card, a lot of playful energy, I want to say. I'm definitely getting this sort of more extrovert slash kind of entertainer kind of vibe off of you guys, okay, which is interesting that that's being linked to the shadow. Okay, very fast movement, maybe quite extrovert. You might find yourself, you may have been told that you're quite extrovert, potentially the performer or the kind of entertainer, as I said, the funny one, I want to say, and you're sort of like in a bit of a whirlwind. As you see, this figure's kind of dancing and is creating this sort of whirlwind around them, which I'm actually seeing as a form of protection. Okay, so this is why I feel it's coming up as a shadow, and a shadow that wants to speak to you. As it's not, you know, as much as that seems very carefree, you know, that sort of entertainer, that kind of funny person, etc. There is an element about this that could be quite protective of you. Okay, so that's the first thing that's coming through. It may push some others away. Some people may find you a little bit much, as they say, you know. If you are quite extroverted, you have a lot of energy around you, so much energy with all of this sort of kind of wind, kind of cyclone kind of imagery, if you can see, and going into the hair as well. A lot of emotion, I want to say. Hair is something always linked to emotion, so that's interesting. But you might not be all that you seem, because there's so much energy concentrated on your kind of crown chakra there, which is very interesting, which means you may be a lot more than what meets the eye. Okay, there's a lot more deeper, more to you than the surface level, but a lot of your energy seems to come out on surface level, I want to say. I keep going surface. Those two words. This whole reading has just been crazy. The last few with saying those words, but yes, there's an indication of sort of your energy seems to be, you know, it's like it's a good thing. I feel like you dish out gems to people, you dish out happiness, or you help people in some way, shape, or form. It's almost like bits of you are coming out though. So there might be something to that might be something to bear in mind. Definitely this kind of need to be seen, I want to say, or be the kind of center of attention potentially. You may have been told this about yourself. I'm getting a lot of Leo energy from this card, a lot of fire sign energy, a lot of, you know, you're known as the kind of happy-go-lucky one in the group, as I said, the comedian perhaps, the performer. And you definitely seem to be dishing out gems and helping people through this. But let's go forward with your other oracle cards to see how they play into this shadow aspect. I'm seeing, okay, you guys, okay, the dolphin, okay, this makes sense, and the fool, interesting. Okay, there you go, we've got that right off the bat, that sort of jester energy. But what is that hiding? You know, it doesn't always have to hide something. You guys might be like, no, I'm not kind of sad or like fake or anything of that nature. I'm not saying that at all. I just feel like as this is coming, you know, as a shadow element, there may be that kind of push behind it, and that might be something to be aware of. That's what I'm being told here. Okay, what is this need for being the entertainer or being the funny one? You know, you definitely bring a lot of joy into people's life through this. You know, there's a lot of color, even though this is a shadow reading, and I've, you know, deliberately picked cards to sort of reflect that. You still come out with the most colorful cards in the deck, I want to say, with this dolphin. Dolphin energy is beautiful energy. The natural healers, you know, the ones that don't realize they're healers. That's what that dolphin archetype is about. And again, that playful energy. Dolphins, you know, they're so playful, they've got a lot of energy, incredibly intelligent though. So, and like I'm saying, this is all in your mind. Like there's so much energy concentrated on your crown chakra and on your head here that, you know, I'm feeling that might be getting overlooked, or you might not be tapping into that and getting your just desserts for that sort of part of yourself because of this kind of fall that you're embodying right now. Okay, so the light attributes of the Fool: fearlessly revealing emotion, helping people laugh at absurdity and hypocrisy. For some of you, I feel you could be potentially comedians or very satirical people. Maybe you work in that field of writing stuff that's kind of mocking the establishment, etc., you know. Shedding lights on things through humour. Humour is a great way of breaking these kind of shadowy and horrible and harsh kind of subjects down for people and helping them understand it and grasp it. It's a beautiful thing to have a good sense of humour and to be able to portray messages and get messages across in that way. A great gift. And if you have that, kudos to you, pile 3. You know, that it's needed. We need these kind of people in life. But the shadow attributes here, we have using humour to wound rather than liberate, and denial of your emotional truth. Again, that kind of the sad clown kind of archetype kind of coming through here with you guys. So there may be a shadow element here of being a humorous person, being a performer, being a larger than life character, you know, to potentially, you know, protect yourself in some way, shape or form, like I said, with these kind of this wind energy creating a boundary around you. It may either be, you know, keeping certain people at bay from you like completely, or it may just be keeping people from getting in to know you in other ways. Like I said, you seem like quite a deep person there with all that crown chakra energy. Okay, and with this dolphin here, there's a kind of nod to you not fully realizing how kind of, I'm just gonna say how great you are, but like not as in, oh, I'm great, like I'm a performer, I'm fabulous, but like the work that you could do in terms of how healing you are for people, you know. Maybe if you start to show them a bit more of your truth as well. I think that's coming out here. Dolphins like doesn't seem to realize how healing they are. And that's a big part of that kind of archetype there. You know, they don't realize their own power, you know. Or maybe you haven't stepped into your spirituality, but there's a want to do that now, you know. Because maybe you're pursuing a lot of, you know, kind of material or sort of validation perhaps through, you know, this pursuit of whatever kind of role you're seeking right now, whether it's like an entertainer or performer, something of that nature. Maybe you're not giving yourself the credit by seeing yourself as this one-dimensional person when there's a lot more to you. Okay, a lot more to you. You know, we've got this crown here as well, that's sort of queen energy of this figure. Okay, I'm seeing a lot of Queen of Wands off of that, to be honest with you. The Queen of Wands, you know, very passionate, very extrovert, very confident kind of individual. All beautiful traits to have, but can kind of go into the kind of dark side of that, you know, getting past the kind of the shallow, you know, because you're deeper than that. You're not a shallow person. That's what's coming through. Okay, and you don't need to have this larger than life capacity and character to kind of shield you from things. I want to say that's something that needs to be looked into from your perspective. This is what the shadow is shining a light on here. And also to tell you that, you know, but these things are actually a gift also. Okay, so let's look a bit further in with your tarot to see what's going to come out. We've got this kind of interesting character within you guys, a sort of performer, the deep, that's got a lot more to offer than they may realize, a lot more. And it may be performing a sort of protective element over yourself at the moment that might be holding you back from spiritual pursuits, I want to say, actually, or healing pursuits, actually, with that crown. Maybe there's something you can do with these talents, and that might be the message that's going to come through. Okay, don't use it as a way to kind of protect yourself, but as a way to connect yourself to others. Okay, let's see what this sort of Joker kind of shadow aspect or performer shadow aspect wants us to know. Okay, tarot, help us out here. Give me a few cards for this. Pile number 3. What does their shadow want to shine a light on? Queen of Wands straight away wanted to come out. The 9 of Cups was under that. I didn't feel like I wanted to pull it out so much, but you know what I am. because I feel like a message just came through there about complacency. So yeah, this sort of feeling that people think you've got it all, but that's not the case. I'm being told that's not true. Oh, pile 3, you know, they're so happy-go-lucky. Look at them, they're so extrovert, they're so confident. Death wanted to show his head there. Interesting, you're hiding something. Transformation is coming. Oh, God, your cards are flying out. There's so much energy. Frenetic energy here. This really suits you. We've got the 3 of Wands. You wanting to move on from that. Interesting. Death and then the 3 of Wands. Very interesting. 2 more cards, please. 2 more cards, please. What's going on under this 9 of Cups? Can you tell us more about pile number 3 shadow and what it's trying to illuminate for them? What is pile 3 shadow trying to shine a light on, please? Shine a light on. What's this complacency? 2 of Pentacles. Almost looks like a jester juggling in this one. That's interesting. 2 of Wands was underneath that as well. Kind of wanted to come out together. I'm going to bear that in mind, actually. I'm going to take them together. These 2 characters seem to want to go together. And the last one for this death, please. What is this death all about? Give me 1 card, please. What is this death all about? Keep seeing aces come up for some reason. We've got the Ace of Cups. I'm going to bear that in mind. But just give me 1 solid card, please. I just kept seeing the hands and their aces in this, and it just kept... one just decided to flip itself completely. Okay, that's got to be you then. What we got is 4 of Pentacles. It was in the reverse, so that's interesting. Okay. Okie dokie. The 9 of Wands here also is a bottom deck energy, so I'll bear all of this in mind as we go on. Okay, pile number 3. Definitely, like I said, Queen of Wands character, 100%. You guys, if you're not a fire sign, I feel like you have fire in your chart, or you embody this kind of confident character for sure. This sort of larger than life character, very passionate person, I want to say. It's interesting though. I feel like you might not be happy. I am fully happy with this, even though people view you as that, because I'm noticing that this character, she's staring at this sunflower, okay, and that always denotes happiness for me. And it's almost like a longing feeling. Your staff is over there, which I always kind of think represents the sort of power and passion, and that is not where this figure's kind of attention is right now. It's on their happiness. And I feel like you might not be fulfilled with this role that you've been playing right now, this sort of performer, or, you know, potential kind of jester. You know, maybe we have some comedians here and performers here, people who outwardly seem very extrovert, very confident, very larger than life, but you're not feeling fully fulfilled or happy in that, is what's coming through here. Okay, you're wanting to expand, you want to be known for something more. Okay, with this 3 of Wands underneath that, you're definitely looking to new horizons. You may have already embarked on this with the 3 there, although we do have the 2 coming after. I'll get to that. But you want to explore new lands now. Maybe show people some of your inner depths. Maybe that's something you find difficult, because maybe when you start speaking about serious things or deep things or whatever, you know, spiritual things, and people are not used to you being that person, they might like kind of shrug you off a little bit, or you might not be taken seriously, or they might think, oh, you're making a joke, oh, don't be silly, like, what are you talking about all that hippie stuff for? You really believe in that? Or, you know, do you know what I mean? Like, your role might be so solidified in other people's kind of minds right now, that it might be quite hard to get away from. But you definitely have your eye on something else. You've made this decision, I feel, already in your heart, because this figure's holding the 1 stave now. Okay, or the sunflower, as it were, is kind of lining up with this Queen of Wands holding that sunflower, something that makes you happy. Some of you, this may involve kind of gardening or things like that. getting back to your roots, maybe coming off the stage and going to go work on a farm or something. Who knows? It's a bit out there, but it's like almost stepping away from there. Some of you may be quite known in what it is that you do. You know, either known very strongly within your social circle or community, or, you know, maybe you are like an entertainer performer and you're known as, maybe you're like celebrated for that. That's very interesting. We have the 9 of Cups, which is like, you know, meant to kind of that sort of wish fulfillment, kind of, you know, can be kind of debauchery and stuff. But I always see it as like, well, it's not the 10 yet, you know, and this figure doesn't look too happy, does he? This kind of pig figure here, like, almost look like he's wearing a mask as well. It's like the cups have spilt as well. It's like this, you become disillusioned with this. Maybe you've been a partier or something like that, and people's always known you as the life and soul of the party. You know, you've got this dancing figure, etc. But, you know, the party's coming to an end for you, or has, but other people haven't realised that yet. I feel like people may see you as being a lot more happy and, you know, oh, look, they've got everything, and you might not feel that way. You really might not feel that way at all. I feel like you may feel like you're juggling aspects of yourself here. This 2 of Pentacles, again, this sort of jester-like figure we have here. Juggling these 2 things. And they look like, you know, they've been injured through doing this with these sort of ink spots or blood spots here. There's definitely one that catches your eye more, as you can see, the one up here with all these sort of kind of sunlight figures. Again, I'm being drawn to the sun, sunflowers, so something that represents your happiness. Again, the crown chakra element, something higher, maybe higher learning, or your spirituality is something you want to step into, but you just don't think that it marries with this sort of character that you've built, or people have built up about you, that the idea they have about you. So it seems like you're juggling potentially 2 identities right now. That's what I'm getting from that, and that seems like it's taking its toll. This figure is very emaciated here with this 2 of Wands. It seems like you've been planning on how you could step away from this. Like I said, it seems like you've made that choice, but it's interesting. It's like you feel like, in order, again, even in this card, it feels like you've made the choice, because 1 wand is solidly left behind in this kind of fort or castle or wherever it was that you were. It's like you're laughing, looking back, like, I'm going, guys. Maybe people we feel don't take you seriously with that, though. That's interesting. Again, we've got like almost like a sun-like figure coming out. There's a transformation coming for you with the Death card here. It's been held off with the 4 of Pentacles in reverse underneath, for sure, but like I said, the Ace of Cups wanted to come out too, so there is a new kind of beginning that is definitely awaiting you, something more fulfilling, something that's a lot more in touch with your emotions. This might not be something that you feels recognized or hasn't been recognized so far, you know, in your life. Either you're doing some inner work on your emotions and kind of dealing with maybe where this potential shadow aspect of this part of yourself has come from, or also, you know, just working on things that kind of sit with you emotionally better. Something you love that's not maybe being given the light of day because it doesn't marry well with this aspect of yourself. I was going to say mask. I don't think it's all mask-like for you, though. I do think if you are a performer, if you are funny, if you are the Joker, if you are that sort of larger-than-life character, these are not, I don't think it's fake at all. I just think as it's coming up as a shadow, it may just, you know, have just taken over a little bit, and there's other elements of yourself that you want to explore now. And I also feel there's an element, like I said, that these parts of yourself can actually be used to be very healing. And that might be the next path that you're on with this journey now. You know, there's a few ways you can look at this 4 of Pentacles, but it's interesting that it's in the reverse, because sometimes that can mean giving away a bit too much, you know, a lot of generosity. I also feel that maybe what you're in right now is what actually this kind of character that you're embodying. I keep saying character like it's not part of you, but this aspect of yourself that you're embodying a lot, that might be kind of, you know, taken away from other parts of yourself right now. It might be how you get your money, to be honest. It could be, and there might be, you know, I feel like you're willing to throw that away actually with the Four of Pentacles in reverse there. You're not hoarding it. You want this death, this transformation. You want to just be revealed. This is a very interesting death card because he's taken off his cloak and showing you for who he really is. He's not coming as this sort of hooded figure, you know, kind of cloaked in mystery. I am this sort of skeletal figure. This is me, the bare bones of me. See me for who I am. If you are an artist or a performer or anything of that nature, I feel like your work may be moving into being a bit more vulnerable now. And that could be very healing, not only for you, because this Ace of Cups brings a healing vibe to me and a vibe of peace. But for others, again, with that dolphin, you definitely have a role to play in the healing of others through this journey you're on. And it seems like it's going to be through quite a beautiful medium in the terms of, like, you know, humor or, you know, this sort of artistic vibe to this group. And I keep saying performers. I feel like they're performers here in some way, shape or form. Artists as well. Artists, performers, singers, songwriters, comedians. Something very like that sort of entertainment, but an entertainment that can have a deeper meaning. I'm just the imagery that's coming through to me is like, you know, say like an actor or someone that's, you know, been typecast and they want to kind of do a movie with a bit more depth because they actually have a lot of range, they have a lot to give to that, but people are like, no, we don't want to see you in that, you're the funny guy, you know. That is what I'm feeling right now. It's like Kevin Hart, you know, oh, he's going to be funny and everything. But then I saw him in something recently and I was really surprised at his range, you know, how he could kind of do different kind of emotions. And I was like, oh, wow, it's kind of good that he's branched out now. And that's the vibe I'm getting from you guys. Creating this space where you can be more than just the fool, the jester, the entertainer, the person that kind of picks everyone up through their sort of happy-go-lucky exterior. And I feel like you are going to do that. This is what your shadow wants you to do. I feel like you've already decided this, though. I have to be honest. I feel this is something you know, all these gems in your head. You know, you might not be known as like a thinker, but you're definitely a big thinker. 100%. This might not be seen on the outside, but you're definitely in touch. Either you're very spiritual or you're very intelligent, very analytical, and people might not see this about you. You've made plans. There's something behind everything you do. You know. Also feel as there might be a quite self-deprecating kind of energy towards you. Maybe you use humor to mock yourself in a way, to kind of get through. There's an element of that's come through now, if that applies to any of you. That might be slightly self-betrayal. But maybe there's something that can come out of that self-deprecation. I've seen comedians embrace that and make very profound shows through it, actually. He was very good at that. Simon Amstel, if you know of him. Very interesting. So there's something, like I said, there's something very healing to be kind of had from this gift, this natural performing gift that you have. I definitely feel the need to let you know that. You're very generous people. I think you don't realise how much you've actually got going for you and how much you help people, really. How much light you spread, all these gems. Look, just let people in a bit more. Don't be fearful of allowing them to see other aspects of you. Don't be typecast, okay? This is what your shadow wants you to know. Don't be typecast. You don't have to keep staying in this role to please others. You might be pleasantly surprised, you know. Sometimes people need to warm up to that, you know. Strip it down if you need to. Strip down to the bare bones. This transformation is coming. See it through. You've got it in you. I'm just kind of... look, we have the Nine of Wands and under that the Queen of Cups. So this is the other element of yourself that I think your shadow really wants you to look at, or what it is you feel you need to look at, and that is your emotional kind of self, you know, the nurturing self, the sensitive self. You know, I feel like some of the funniest people I know are also deep down the most sensitive or the most analytical, I think, you know, or anxious. I feel like an anxious mind runs very fast, but so does a comedic mind, you know. That we can make those connections very quickly. That's what makes a lot of people I know very witty. They've been through some stuff, you know, their mind is very active, and we can see that in you. Maybe there's a lot of anxiety that you might suffer with underneath. It's a lot of whirlwind of emotions. So it's dealing with that and becoming balanced in that. And again, we've got another ace. I said all the hands kept showing the Ace of Pentacles underneath that. So new opportunities are going to come through that. Potentially, if it is your job that you're kind of worried about, this may actually help with that. Okay. I feel like you've definitely had a long slog getting there with the Nine of Wands, you know. It's not been easy. You might be feeling quite tired now, and that's why you're ready for this new beginning with the Ace of Cups and this Death. So let's get into the oracles now and just see like what can help our pile threes with this. Then I definitely feel like you guys have got this underway. You're very aware of it. With this Three of Wands and, you know, Two of Wands, you've planned it. What's going to help them with this, you know, stepping into a more fuller picture of themselves, of their identity, a less one-dimensional kind of figure perhaps. This is not to mock you in any way, shape or form, but I feel like some of you may be so strongly in this sort of role for others that you're finding it a bit tricky to step out of that, especially if it's married to your work, I want to say. So from the Queen of the Moon Oracle, let's shine a light. What advice can the shadow give? What advice can it give for our pile number threes? Resistance, very interesting. Straight off the bat from that, I'm getting this as resistance from others, and to not be off put by that, okay? You know, when you're trying to grow something new, you can still see, even against this fist, there's new life growing. People have to get used to it, you know, when we start changing our role in life and people are not used to that, you know, it is met with resistance sometimes. We're going to get that, and that's a very jarring energy, particularly if you're someone that's so, you know, doesn't like that kind of energy. Maybe you're the person that always has to try and make the energy light because you don't like heavy energy, or you struggle with being around that because perhaps you are a very empathetic person or empathic person, and that's where humor has jumped in to save you. I can use my humor to kind of help this situation, or I can use my kind of lightheartedness to change the situation or distract from the situation. Maybe that's where this kind of shadow element of this part of you has come from. Okay, get okay with being uncomfortable when people don't always react to you in a good way initially. You know, some people might fall off. Maybe you are someone that has a career in this and, you know, a fandom, and they might be like, oh, that's not what I wanted from them, but that's okay. That's you. We're meant to grow as people. Okay, we're not always meant to stay the same in some sort of like time loop. And it seems like, you know, you're ready to transform because you're complacent, you're not happy. It's not really a card of contentment. I don't see that as. You can grow through this resistance, and people will jump back on board, or you're going to get new people that are going to come in, you know. Don't feel fearful of that resistance and that kind of potentially what you might view as negative energy. Okay, that is the first bit of advice that's coming through for you guys. Now, with that number, we actually have the 7th house coming out. So that's our one-on-one relationships, which is interesting. So, maybe there's something that you feel you're going to get mainly from people close to you, and that's why it's bothering you. Friends, family, partners, working business partners, perhaps also. You feel you're going to get pushback from that. Maybe you have an agent that's going to be like, no, I don't want you to do that. That's too deep. I don't want you to do that theatre show. Come and do this comedy, etc. Stay true to yourself. That's what's coming through. So you have lots of growth, and especially with that Ace of Cups, you know, lots of things that are coming to you if you can resist that resistance. As you can stay firm through it. You know, there's a lot of good to come from it. You've got nourishment as your bottom deck energy, okay? Like again, you're going to get to bear the fruits of your labor by doing this. You're going to become happier through doing this. And again, all the water that's showing up here, you know, it'd be a release for you, okay, to let these other aspects of yourself shine. And it can be very healing for yourself and others, is what I'm hearing. Okay, next we're going to pull from the Iris Oracle. Let's see what our Iris Oracle has for you guys. So give us some advice for pile number 3, please, and how they can navigate this sort of shift into being, you know, embracing these other aspects of themselves, and, you know, not being off put by how it might be reacted to, I want to say. Slimy, interesting. It's basically saying haters gonna hate. And the bottom deck energy was fear that light will bring judgment. So they're interesting. So it's getting over your kind of self-consciousness about that. It's reiterating a similar message. It's saying that if people are going to be like horrible towards you, it's envy and jealousy that, you know, you're stepping more into your authentic self. And also maybe you've been a crutch to them by always being this sort of source of distraction, etc. Maybe now is your time to be a source of healing for people. And at the end of the day, you got to do what's best for you. That's what's coming out strongly. Okay, step into your light. Don't worry about how other people are going to see you. It seems like you're used to the limelight in some way, shape or form anyway, but maybe you're just used to a certain type of attention, and that's why the possibility of kind of getting eyes looking at you and judge you in a way like, huh, what is part number 3 doing here? Like, what? They've completely flipped the script on me. You know, that's okay. People reinvent themselves all the time and do well. So can you. Doesn't mean you have to sacrifice this part of yourself. You're always going to be this part. You know, you can always be this queen. You're still showing up as this Queen of Wands, this character, you know, with all this beautiful gems and beautiful kind of energy to share with people. But there's other parts of yourself that want to be explored and can be explored and can also be helpful. So, you know, let's not ignore them. Let's not ignore them and have something else that kind of might pop up as a shadow, right? Okay, so let's finish off with believe in your own magic, because we need a little bit, even though you are showing as a confident person, you know, confident in stepping into something new, okay? Let's have a look what we've got going for you guys. What does the believe in your own magic have to say? We have grey. Endings are inevitable with the 10 there. Back to the 1, new beginning. And it's true, okay? Sometimes you've got to let go. That's coming right under the death card, you know? And we've got be your own first priority at the bottom. Do what feels right to you now. You might have been spending so much time trying to keep others happy, and that's what you was maintaining this part of yourself for. But please just look after you now, okay? Embrace this ending. I feel like you already are. I think deep down in yourself you are. You're already looking to these new horizons with the 3 of Wands now, this card. You see that boat on the clouds of your dreams there, okay? You're reaching out to it. You know you've come to the end of the road or end of a cycle in some way, shape or form here already. So there is, I feel, that acceptance from you guys, which is great. And I'm feeling calm. I don't know if you can hear it in my voice. As I'm doing your reading, I feel pretty calm. So I feel like there's been a lot of inner work that you've been doing. And you're, like I said, very smart people. You know this about yourself. Let's read what it has to say. Okay, grey. Endings are inevitable. As humans, we tend to see things in black and white, forgetting to account for all the grey in between. There's someone in your life who's begun to fade away, or maybe they're gone altogether now. Don't fight it. Real relationships are not the same as the fairy tales we know and love. There are no neat and tidy bows to tie things up at the end, leaving you satisfied. Acceptance isn't easy, but it's a thing you need to work towards. We create our own closure. So this is maybe letting go, stepping away from a friendship group, you know, a business partnership, some sort of relationships you have, you know, an old version of yourself, okay, and stepping into this new version of yourself and embracing that, okay, and knowing that that's okay. It's really interesting how all these cards are linking up. Honestly, there's a lot of synchronicity here for you guys. This is going to be a good new adventure for you. You know, you have the boat there. It's okay. We don't have to stay being the same person for others, or the same person for ourselves our whole lives. Okay? If you want to step away from doing this, maybe you're a performer that wants to take a break and go off on some sort of silent retreat or something, go for it. Something within your inner works. You are a confident person, so have that confidence in yourself again, that you're making the right decision for you. And overall, when you do that, you're going to be making the right decision all around, you know, because what you're going to bring into your life on the other end of that is going to be good for those and those around you. I really feel that you need to hear that. So pile number 3, that's what I've got for you today in terms of messages from your shadow. I hope it resonated. I really wish you well as you go forward in this journey. I really see you guys definitely stepping into this transformation. 100%. You got this. And I wish you well. Let me know how it goes. You know, comment if it resonates. Hit me up with a like, subscribe. And I'll see you in the next one. Bye.